Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and Iron Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone and Rovi, and today we're going to be talking about interchain communication, or I would say, inter-blockchain communication with Cosmos.
But really, I think what we're going to title this as some kind of like clickbait title is the Layer 1 Wars Have Begun.
Well, yes.
Right? Just because to spice things up, because it seems like it's spicing up, but even that's like an incorrect title. It's really like these Layer 1 wars has always been happening.
Yeah, it's been happening.
But it seems like it's accelerating and like
it could be the headliner for the next bull run.
But it's not. But it is. It's like everyone's kind of reaching now, right? Post merge, it's like, damn, dude, what's left to like get hyped about?
Yeah.
Or get not hyped about? Like, what the fuck? What's going on? NFTs. I mean,
yeah.
NFTs. People are still spinning up PFPs, and Zuki did their thing.
Yeah.
Other side, they're doing stuff. So it's like, what the fuck? What do we get excited about? But Layer 1s, we got Aptos. They just launched, I guess, yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Went fucking crazy. I don't know. Everybody on the internet just kind of like piled on. Like it's like a cesspool of like.
And it's down 40% today.
As expected, because of, they raised like $400 or $500 million pre-sale. And then I think the majority of those tokens are in the hands of their investors. So yeah, it's kind of expected there's going to be a huge dump on retail, right?
So, and we're talking about Cosmos today because dydx decided to move from Ethereum into Cosmos. So it's like, why?
Yeah, well, that was like a June happening, but it's just Cosmos, if you look at the chart, like despite all this like bearish market stuff, like over the last, let's say 3 to 6 months, it's been like on a pretty positive trajectory, dude.
Yeah.
I think you'd struggle to find any other project in the whole Web3 space that has a similar, like,
and what do you know? From June, it's been going up.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I think we know the catalyst for sure. So, yeah, it's important. So the Layer 1 race is spicing up because Ethereum has its issues. And like you said, dydx, one of the biggest Ethereum DeFi projects, just made the transition and it's kind of moving away from ETH.
Mm-hmm.
They've chosen Cosmos. Delphi Digital, they put out a piece like not too long ago why they've chosen Cosmos as their, Layer 1 of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it, dude? What are we missing about Cosmos?
So the biggest takeaway from Cosmos and their entire technology is they want to link blockchains together so that they can communicate with each other. It's called IBC, inter-blockchain communication.
Yeah, the linking of blockchains is like, it's the golden goose.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Ever since we interviewed Andreas Antonopoulos,
yep,
he's the one who like put that in our head, right? It's what was it?
It's
many chains, one network.
Yeah, many chains, one network.
Yeah, and at the time, I guess we were like,
well, it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have all these silos.
Yeah,
right. Developers have to pick silos, and that's not the right way to do things.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to figure out which of the technologies out there, Cosmos, Polkadot, there's a few others trying to link blockchains together. Which one's going to win out? What type of technology do they have, traction, things like that? And so when dydx decided to move over, I guess that made initiate us to look into why Cosmos is the one, as well as Delphi Digital too.
Yeah, it was really Delphi, I guess, coming out and publicly stating, because if you don't know who Delphi is, they're a pretty reputable organization at this point, right? They started off as a research institution, became an investment institution, invested in things like Axie Infinity, obviously, which blew up.
Yeah.
So they got like a lot of clout and reputation from that, right? Hey, these guys recognize like the whole play to earn sector before anybody else.
Right.
Now they're building actual DeFi products and stuff, and they started that process on Terra.
Yeah,
which we know what happened to that. So maybe that has like a little notch in their reputation. Maybe not. Terra was a viable,
it was
blockchain.
Cosmos didn't have anything to do with the demise of Terra, right?
No, but I think Terra was one of these like IBC connected.
Oh, that's
blockchains.
What I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Delphi's reputation.
Oh,
Cosmos.
I see.
But so here they are saying Cosmos is actually, is the Layer 1 of choice. But it seems like, I don't know, man. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that since 2017,
Yeah.
with EOS,
Yeah.
Cardano. and they all tout the same thing, man. It's like, this is the scalable future. What else do they say?
Scalable future, and
I mean, I think that's
high transaction throughput.
That's basically it.
Yeah, everybody's
saying the same thing.
They're saying the same thing. Aptos is saying the same thing.
They really, yeah. I mean, it's insane, like how.
So Polygon saying the same thing. There's ZK rollups where they're doing roughly, I guess their estimations around 2,000 transactions per second.
Yeah.
And ZK Sync, they're going for 100K transactions per second. So yeah, it's a big deal to kind of figure out who is going to be the one onboarding so many developers and applications.
Yeah, that's really what the race is, right? It's the race for developers.
Yeah.
Who is going to attract like the best developers, the ones that are capable of attracting the most users. So like again, like a dydx, it's a, what is it again? It's like a derivatives platform, I think.
Yep.
So they must have tons of users because like their volume's pretty decent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So once you get to that state, man, like on Ethereum, even with like a layer 2, like a side chain with Polygon and eventually ZK,
it's not good enough.
It might not be good enough.
Yeah.
Right. And
so with dydx, now they're going to be spinning up their own blockchain using Cosmos. And we might be seeing a trend where these projects that get enough traction, kind of like CryptoKitties, right?
They did this on their own, right?
They did this. They created their own blockchain flow. Yeah. And so now dydx spinning up their own blockchain. This might be a trend where maybe projects that are like ultra successful with like so much traction, they have to create essentially their own blockchain. Yeah.
Also, Axie did that with Ronin too, right?
That's right.
But it's the right move, I guess, to service your community, your users, your customers, whatever, the consumer of your application, your product. But like you said, you're just spinning up more silos. It's not contributing to like the actual end game vision of, I guess, an interconnected blockchain network. I mean, unless somebody solves it, like you said, like it's obviously a problem creating more like a distributed silo network. But problems, I guess, can be solved. Maybe another Satoshi needs to come by, figure out.
Yeah, I mean, Satoshi level problem solving is like, it's like computer science like problems, like AI computer science problems, like quantum computing level problems. But we just need either a network to get big enough to where it's like a runaway traction machine and people have no choice but to onboard onto Cosmos because all the other blockchains are on there, all the other projects are on there. Or we come to a consensus of protocols, and every blockchain that gets spun up uses the same protocol so that they can intercommunicate with each other.
So in scenario 1, that means like it's almost like I think like going back to like the bacteria realm or something.
Yeah,
like
it's like a virus takes over.
Something like that.
A project takes over.
It just like takes all the lifeblood of all the surrounding, cells. Yeah, essentially, it's like a cancer.
I mean, think about what happened with Apple, right? They created an operating system that ended up getting so much traction where their app store was like a no-brainer for developers because they had so many like hardware devices out there.
Yeah.
And it's like a walled garden with Apple.
So that's interesting. So I think you're right. So that's one thing to pay attention to, like in this layer 1 ecosystem battling, because they all are ending up like very similar. Even Ethereum itself with their whole modular layer 2 network that's starting to emerge.
Yeah.
And now potentially spinning up to a layer 3 layer. With their own like blockchain or app specific blockchain enablers, stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
These ecosystems are all mirroring each other. So there's got to be some other aspect to them that differentiates.
I mean, it's not so. I don't think of it as so much the differentiation. It's more about what is in common with everybody. That what's in common can be taken into a protocol and then just leveraged by every other app blockchain. And all of a sudden, if that technology is leveraged, then every app can communicate with each other.
So you're saying like they all have to at some point adopt a single
HTTPS, right? If we all adopt HTTPS, all of a sudden we have encrypted communication and we can take credit cards on the internet.
Yeah, but see, that's the difference between the internet and like Web3 and blockchains. The internet wasn't like
wasn't built by community.
They didn't feel like sovereign states. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the protocols of the internet.
But nonetheless, everyone had to agree on the protocols in order to establish an internet.
Yeah. But again, because I guess the developers of the internet, there was more at gain to, I guess, come to these consensus as far as like what are the best protocols so that we could build the best type of apps to all our benefit.
Yeah.
In this like Web3 ethos, it's like it's very tribalistic, very much like countries competing with one another like for resource. You know what I mean? Which is very that's why politics and governance is so hard like on Earth for humans to kind of like collaborate.
I hear that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think of each blockchain as like it's a nation, right? Digital nation.
But I feel like the technology that would interlink all the blockchains, the protocol, it would have nothing to gain by choosing it. Like it's so open source that nobody owns it, that you just kind of leverage it. And
I mean, that would be different. Yeah. Whatever that ends up being.
Yeah.
That abstraction layer to all these blockchains, they would probably just leverage all of the underlying like layer one, nation states, whatever it is they support and provide to this like on-chain economy. Yeah. And like pay their dues.
Yeah. Think about it. We already have examples of this. Think of airplanes and the airplane network. Right. Okay. We all have to follow rules, whether you're from China or North Korea. Like we all have to follow like rules about landing planes and timing and altitude. And we all have to follow those rules. Otherwise we can't fly. Right.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing. Right. We have literal nation states agreeing on the protocols.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean,
so it's the same thing. It's like, how can we communicate with each other if we can't agree on the language?
Well, I think that's the type of scenario where like all these competing layer ones will come to a consensus. Is like, okay, listen, guys, I know we all have our own ethos and our own tokens, and we're all staked very deeply in our own ideologies, our own technologies, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we all understand, like, we've made it too complicated for the end user, the common man.
If we want 5 billion people on this network,
which means we all get rich, because we're the ones supporting this whole network, this whole ecosystem. Then, we need to like all play by the same rules, or at least create these rules for the common man or the common man app developers to kind of like create this seamless connected network. Right? So I don't think we're there yet. We're still figuring out the layer one side.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so the layer one stuff has to pan out. We have to see where this takes us. But I think that natural evolution to where at some point there's going to be a layer on top of it. Mm-hmm. That's going to be that front end user experience, right?
Yeah.
It's the application layer of the internet. Like that's where we build our internet.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. This is sort of already happening. All these like layer one blockchains have ERC 721 standards for NFTs. Like these are all like standard NFTs, and there's no need to like innovate beyond that, right? And so they don't have like on these different chains, you're not going to see different flavors of NFTs that do additional functionality. It's just they're all 721s.
They're called different things, though, right? Like,
well, they are, but still, it's effectively the same thing. And you can bridge these assets onto multiple chains.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the life cycle of these, these monolith layer ones. They just spin up a new chain. They copy, I guess, all the existing applications that exist on all the other chains, deploy it on their new chain, onboard like these new participants. Like, hey, it's like a casino just opened up.
Yeah.
Everybody floods in to play. Yeah. But before you know it, it's like something happens to where I guess the money just stops flowing, or like the slots just one by one just turn off, and then the ecosystem just kind of slows down. People hop around from layer one to layer one.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to change that. At some point, some of these other layer ones have to reach out to and build some actual, consumer grade products, I guess. I don't even know if that's possible at this point,
Yeah. I mean, ultimately what's going to bring the masses are the applications. They don't really care, like, I'm on, 100,000 transaction blockchain per second, or I'm on 100. Like, no. All I care about is the application that I want to use.
Yes.
Right? So,
of course.
I think that's going to be the ultimate differentiator between, like, who gets the most, they're the biggest audience.
Yeah, so going back to Aptos and their, like, what Web3 ethos is perceiving as their catastrophic launch, right? Because they launched with a much lower than advertised transactions per second, I guess, and for many reasons, right? You're not going to have many transactions on a chain that's not really being leveraged. Like, there's not many apps deployed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, nonetheless, all the money and resources they have, all the connections they have, do they have the chance to do exactly what you just said? Be the ones that can provide the day-to-day user like valuable functional dApps.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Will they care?
Yeah.
Probably not, right?
No, definitely not. I mean, it's really catering to the developers. If every developer knows React.js or JavaScript and they support all these like languages, then you're going to have an easier time onboarding those developers.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there's got to be some sort of incentive for developers to build on blockchain right now.
Well, it's liquidity, right?
Well, liquidity and audience, right? That would be the incentive, right? Liquidity, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wherever the users are, and users means money.
Yeah.
Developers will come and try and exploit that and take their piece of that. And,
that's right.
You know, it's just, that's the natural built-in incentive.
But if that was the case, then every app would be built on Ethereum, right?
Oh, I think, most of them start on Ethereum. But like I said, there's like a liquidity mob that they know, they understand. It's like, we just move from one hyped chain to the next, you know, and then
I see.
Yeah, and people take advantage of that, or I don't know. Actually, chicken and egg. I wonder if I'm not sure if it's like the developers come up with the platforms first, and then the mob just shows up to go like play at the casino for a couple of weeks and then bounce, or the people show up and then they build the dApps for them. I don't think that's the case. I think it's more like
I feel like
all these chains have all their dApps and products, but there's just people are just out there experimenting. I guess I don't know. It's interesting, man.
All right. Well, I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about today. So we got dydx, Cosmos, $3.5 billion.
Definitely pay attention to it, right? Like, we definitely need to make more dedicated Cosmos videos to kind of really understand what is the difference. Yeah, so we're going to do that.
This is a long crawl, dude. Like, we had some mania here, but effectively it's slowly growing, right? The trend is up. The trend is altogether
very slowly up for sure. It reminds me a lot of like Ethereum.
Yeah.
Ethereum had a slow crawl. I mean, and they were founded like around the same time, but Ethereum took off way before Cosmos did, right? But I guess now people are looking for these alternate solutions. So dydx's move is a big deal. We got to keep our eyes peeled if any other big Ethereum DeFi dApp also makes the move.
Yeah, because we were anticipating that the move would be to Polkadot, right? A lot of these projects, just because of the gravitas of Gavin Wood.
The gravitas and the very similar design.
Yeah,
right?
So it's very similar, as it should be. I mean, come on, entertain blockchain communication. There's only so many ways you could do it.
Yeah, and so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. That's the thing to look out for. Any more migration from Ethereum to Cosmos, like that could set like a dangerous domino effect for Ethereum. Not dangerous for Cosmos. Like if this becomes standardized, like we need our own chain because we got too many users. Yeah. Then Cosmos has a bright future, dude. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see them pull like top 5 position.
That reminds me that Cosmos has a different onboarding mechanism compared to Polkadot. Polkadot has to be voted in with
it'd be a pair chain
dot tokens, and so Cosmos, I think you just leverage their tech and you're in the network.
Yeah, but they have that's kind of like with the Cosmos 2.0. Yeah. So this is what we need to make future videos about.
Yes, right here.
The Cosmos 2.0. So they've been working on this. I think there's a roadmap that goes all the way till 2024. Yeah. So this isn't like a, short-term ambition. This is like their final vision of like their whole ecosystem.
Yeah, and I guess one of the bigger updates here, Q3 2023, is that they have an economic incentive model for projects onboarding to Cosmos.
Yeah, onboarding, and it's the whole idea. But if you look at it from like a top-level perspective, which is all we've done up until this point, the thing I like about it is it feels like much more automated and sustainable. Like those are the core tenets to their design, which, you know, we love.
Yeah.
If you can make things like sustainable without like, you know, manual like intervention.
Yeah.
You know, just align the incentives properly with the development side and like the community and the overall ecosystem, then shit, you got something very impressive, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, that covers everything for today. So we talked about Cosmos, Cosmos 2.0, their interchain blockchain communication technology competing with Polkadot. Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Make sure you follow our Twitter channel. Our Twitter handle is @TheBlockRunner, @MeadowsOnIO, and @RoviAI. And until the next video, peace.